Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Tracy, longtime anchor for DC, Marvel, Cross-Gen, Dark Horse, pretty much everybody, and hundreds and hundreds of comics and thousands of pages. It's been a fun career, I love it. And on the side, on some of my downtime, I ended up writing 3 novels over the course of 5 years. It's a series. I don't have a Patreon, and I don't have ads on my channel. But if you like my stuff enough, if you like my episode enough, for one thing, please hit like and subscribe and even share, because that really, really helps my visibility. So anyway, on Amazon exclusive, I have 3 novels called The Demands. It's based on an indie rock band of the same name in the magical world of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, led by a young woman named Lainey Kilburn, who assembles the team, and they play lots of bars, lots of dives, lots of shitholes, and they start getting a little more popular, and they ended up, but along the way, they're in a lot of Russian mob-owned bars and clubs, and Lainey gets romantically involved with one of the mobblers, one of the sons of the big-time mobsters, and things get really ugly. It's not superheroes. It's not, it's all prose, and it just gets under your nails. It's so gritty and horrible, and awful visuals and awful. It's just awful. It's a terrible. It's a great read. I'm just saying, lots of humor too. So if you see my channel, you know I do a sense of humor. Okay, well. Okay, books that will never be reprinted in my lifetime. Anyway, I should add that caveat. Maybe never, because some people are just foolish. The Micronauts was this failed toy line. Bill Mantlo, longtime writer who I've praised many times before and covered his work, his daughter got some Micronaut toys for Christmas, and he was really intrigued. And somehow they got in touch with Mego, who came out with these characters, and he built this whole world around. Yeah, he literally world built around the Micronauts with Mike Golden for the first year, and it was breathtaking. It was amazing. They took these there's a lot of comic toys adaptations that failed miserably. I mean, this is way before G.I. Joe and He-Man and such. So with that, and also Rom Space Knight, Bill Mantlo, he had both of those series ran for like 5 years, 6 years each, and that was just astonishing. This will never get reprinted as far as I know, because it integrates the X-Men. So you have to get Marvel, and you got to get the Maniacal Mego company to agree to say, hey, let's just reprint this and watch the Brinks trucks back up. And but they won't do it. I don't know why. It's really, and some people, I'm showing my age here, but I'm thinking there's a lot of people saying, oh, what's that old stuff? Oh, there's no market for that. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. I'm just a middle-aged dude. I remember everybody who read Micronauts loved it. There was no in-between. And Rom Space Knight. And the thing is, Bill Mantlo integrated pretty much all the Marvel Universe, both heroes and villains, into Micronauts and Rom Space Knight. So it's problematic, which I'm so sick of that word. But put these out in omnibus form, it would sell out like crazy. Second printing, third printing, trust me on this. So, maybe Scott Dunbier can, of IDW, can crush the threshold of these two knucklehead companies. So this is actually canon, believe it or not. It is a story that actually takes place between 2 issues of Micronauts, and it's like a side story for the X-Men, but it's totally canon, but it won't be reprinted. So if you have an X-Men collection, it's not complete unless you have this too, because this isn't just like a one-off. Hold on, I gotta give me a cough drop because my sinuses just kicked in and I feel like crap. So Yay for pollen. Okay. Excuse me very much. Um, so I was already reading Micronauts from issue 1. I started XMen pretty much early on the run. Butch Geiss on the art. Brand new Marvel superstar. He was doing Southern Nights, which is a graphic novel series from an indie publisher and such. But he just grew by leaps and bounds. What's great about his stuff was he had an influence of both Golden and you could even say, I can't even think. He has so many great influences. That's what I like about it. And he's been a chameleon all these years. It's like the stuff he did on the death of Captain America in the 2000s looks nothing like this. So he just absorbs everything like a sponge. What happened was Micronauts, it was kind of waning a little bit. Pat Broderick, Butch Geiss, and Michael Golden were the ones who really made the book stand out. And before Butch came along, Gil Kane was the artist for a better part of a year, and it was beautiful, except for the inking. Danny Bullinati inked very gloppy. It's like if you imagine Dick Ayers, from the early Kirby Hulks, that kind of gloppy, and it really took all the energy out of the Kane's work. Bullinati got better years later on Paul Ryan's Fantastic Four, Tom Falco. So anyway, Gil Kane was working on the book. He and Mantlo could not come to an agreement on the pacing of the book. They worked Marvel style, and Kane just let the story flow, and I thought it was fine. There's plenty in there, but apparently Bill was dissatisfied with the stories being stretched longer, and it wasn't decompressed storytelling like today. He just wanted, he liked small panels full of stuff, and Kane was just more, I don't know, it's more wide and animated. So Kane left, went over to DC, and Butch stepped in, this young slip of a lad. And Biotron, I had a Biotron. I remember I had it for Christmas, even though I know I was a little too old to own one, but my parents could tell I was kind of like, kind of interested in these guys. Never saw the other toys though, but there you go. Chris Claremont, Bill Mantlo, Butch Geiss, Bob Wyacek. And I am such a sucker for these. I love that stuff. I mean, DC pretty much, that was their thing for the longest time, but anytime somebody incorporates it, it's great. I just love this stuff. It's great. I keep saying great. That's supposed to be, I think, Force Commander. They just made him Commander Arcturus Ran. Croyer, they were all supposed to be the same. They were all supposed to be the enemy, but he's like one who's fighting against his people who were subjugated and forced to do evil for Baron Karza. Bug was Galactic Warrior. There was a toy called Galactic Warrior. Looked nothing like Bug. Bug is totally original. And I would love to see him in some Marvel movie because they created Bug, not Mego. But I just want to slap those guys at Mego, or put them in a room with the guys from Marvel and just say, look, this is, so many people would be buying this, throwing money at you like you're at a strip club. See, now, another thing with, excuse me, got a cough. Long time X-Men fans will recognize this guy as the Entity, who he was a dark mirror version of Professor Xavier. He and Xavier met in Cairo, and they were in a small lounge, and they were on opposite sides of the room, and they had this huge psychic war without anybody knowing it. They just sat still. It was X-Men 117 by Claremont, Byrne, and Austin. So Bill Mantlo, he's got the guts to bring that character back, and you know what? It works. That's why I just admire Mantlo's generous. I don't know. You know, it's just he's quick to share stuff, and he's quick to just integrate stuff up. There's the New Mutants when they were still new. So I remember issue 90 when Liefeld came along with like issue 89, and so it was like still New Mutants. I'm like, isn't there a point where, you know, isn't there like a point where they're no longer new? You know, isn't there an expiration date on that kind of stuff? Color hold right there, you know, done with an overlay. I had mentioned this in previous episodes. So much great stuff going on. So there's the checklist. So there's Biotron. No, they finally meet, and like there's a lot of talk going on. It's fun because they all have their cliches. You know, like he goes, yeah, "Oubliez ach," whatever the German phrase is, and he says, "Beige moi," you know, Russian, and she's, you know, people go, "Dallin and sepsis," the Micronauts do, and they all have their cliche. And Bug goes every few sentences, and it makes you. It'd make it crazy if you heard him say it, but I mean, okay, there. The X-Dots versus Micromen. Look, drink that in. Drink it in. Look at that. And you'll notice it's inked by both Bob Wyacek and Kelly Jones. Why is this important? Well, this book lasted 59 issues plus 2 double-size annuals and this. And then it got relaunched. Micronauts got relaunched for 20 issues, drawn by Kelly Jones. What's interesting is sometimes Marvel would have an up-and-coming potential artist ink the previous artist's work so they could kind of get the feel of the book. And then Kelly Jones, of course, went on to great heights with the Batman books with Doug Mensch, as well as the Dead Man with Mike Barron over at DC. So I'm going to see Kelly next week at the Nashville Comic Show. So if you're in the area, come on. It's going to be great. So much happens here. And, you know, I know it's heavy with text and stuff like that, but a lot of it, Mantlo really kind of, he makes it very readable. There's some stuff that kind of goes on a little more, like, you know, yeah. When I say a little more, I mean like maybe it's a little too. That pose. Maybe it's, you know, a little too. Could use a little snip of the some of the sentences out of there. And off we go to the wild blue yonder. Love that angle. So, Biotron was originally a companion to Commander Rand for when he was on his 1,000-year sojourn across the universe, and eventually he got destroyed. But then he got recreated as the ship. So you see the characters coming out of his mouth like a Pez dispenser. And I wish I'd have kept the brown and orange Wolverine costume, because I mean it fits with his like stealthiness and his enjoyment of being in the woods and hunting and all that. But you know, garish yellow and blue, I don't think so. That's an amazing one. Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at it. It looks like it says wrapped, but it's actually trapped. See how Gort, another overlay. That is so ballsy to do it that way. And got the old headshots again going up and down. Oh, I just love that stuff. And well, everything happens. There goes the entity. I was trying to find. There was one panel here. Oh gosh. Okay, so Geiss is like absorbing everything. He's absorbing Michael Golden, Pat Broderick, a lot of others. Ditko. And I mean that in the best possible way. He just thought of this page. And he's like, you know what? How would Ditko work on this? And it's excellent. I mean, it's not swiped. It's just Butch was just so hungry to learn more and more stuff. And he's a super nice guy, too. So that even has like a bit of a Paul Smith feel to it. Although I don't know if Paul Smith was on the book yet. So, okay. There we go. See, you might remember this from XMen number 117. That's right. Excuse me, I got a cough again. So, getting issue 4. Dark Xavier. And I love how they get knocked into the corner boxes. I love those old corner boxes. And like, see that eye? That's a very Michael Golden kind of wide, early anime kind of eye. That beautiful work, beautiful work. I love the lettering too. Rick Parker. Oh my gosh, one of the best letterers of his time. I mean, there's Costanza, of course, and a few others, but a lot goes on, and this thing would just sell so phenomenal because I'm middle aged. There's a lot of guys and probably gals who would really enjoy this sort of thing. I mean, the X-Men's always had like a mixed audience. You know, it hasn't just been like, you know, one guy's power fantasy. A lot of Claremont wrote a lot of the women with an insight that most guys just didn't have at the time. I'll be honest. I learned a lot of that stuff from reading. It sort of bridged the gap between like, what is elusive about this female? All right, enough of my silliness. So at the end of this issue, they go right into, at the end of the miniseries, they go right into their next issue of their monthly book. So there you have it. And it just sucks that these haven't been reprinted, but I got these in great condition. I don't remember where I did. Probably might have been Ides Comics in Pittsburgh. But anyway, check it out. If your local comic shop doesn't have it, then check online anywhere. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I wish you all the very best. Bye.